of this here and leading all the way up to there, and around here it's all industrial mills.
Yes.
It's unbelievable. I saw yesterday a pamphlet on Fall River, and it was saying how the sunsets are really equal to what you see in Italy. And it's like where everything is just factories and industry, and that's it. Just an industrial town, basically, Fall River.
That's right. They're burning coal, and I'm not sure how much of the sunset one would have seen.
Because even in the map, you look at it and you see all the steam coming out of all the factories. So all of that pamphlet was just a terrible enticement to get these people here. With all of this industry going on, there must have been a constant cloud over here. Must have been a terrible place to live. The baptismal records started in 1861.
She's been given printed copies of the certificates to see what else she can learn about her family.
So this is the birth certificate of Hannah, Annie O'Donnell, my great-grandmother, born 17th of August in 1868. Then we have April 19, 1870, Margaret O'Donnell. Oh, her sister. She had a Baba sister. Oh, all right, what do we have here? April 21, 1871, Mary O'Donnell. So they had another little girl. October the 3rd, 1872. Oh, Lord, one after the other. John O'Donnell. There's more. April 1874, Elizabeth O'Donnell. Oh, at least she had a 2-year gap. Okay. April 1875, Thomas O'Donnell. God, 6 kids. Can you imagine how hard that must have been? Whoa. They must have been in and out of this church baptizing the kids every year. Another one and another one. You know, I knew people had big families in those days, but, wow.
To find out more about Thomas and Catherine O'Donnell's life here, Sharon is visiting the Fall River Historical Society. It's based in a former mill owner's house. She's meeting historian Dr. Maura Doherty.
So I have something for you here.
And this is the city of Fall River, Massachusetts, 1877.
Yes. At this point, there's 45,000 people living there. It was a small town that grew very fast. In 1 year, in 1872, 6,000 people came.
Wow.
So it's growing rapidly and a bit chaotically, although we can see the mills are well laid out.
Yeah. So many mills all around. All of this here and leading all the way up to there, and around here it's all industrial mills.
Yes.
It's unbelievable. I saw yesterday a pamphlet on Fall River, and it was saying how the sunsets are really equal to what you see in Italy. And it's like where everything is just factories and industry, and that's it. Just an industrial town, basically, Fall River.
That's right. They're burning coal, and I'm not sure how much of the sunset one would have seen.
Because even in the map, you look at it and you see all the steam coming out of all the factories. So all of that pamphlet was just a terrible enticement to get these people here. With all of this industry going on, there must have been a constant cloud over here. Must have been a terrible place to live.
You can see right here, this is one of the first mills built, the Troy Mill in 1813. You have some ancestors who worked in this mill.
In
This one right there.
So it would have been my great-great-grandmother and grandfather.
Yes. So this is where Catherine and Thomas worked.
Oh, Troy Mill, one of the oldest in the city, Fall River, Massachusetts.
And here I have the accounting books for the Troy Mill. If you want to take a look at this page here.
Here, an O'Donnell.
They called her Kate.
Kate, yeah.
Yeah. If we look here, that's how much she made for the month.
$17.
And 4 cents.
4 cents.
And if we look here, your great-great-grandfather.
Thomas O'Donnell.
Yes. And we can see here what he earned for the month.
$34.50.
Even in those days, this is low pay.
Yeah.
Fall River was known for being one of the lowest paid.
Wow. And so what did my great-great-grandmother do?
She's working in the carding room, where the raw cotton comes into the process and gets combed so that the fibers are all going in one direction in order to be able to spin it later.
Carding was a vital part of the production in cotton mills. Men, women and children operated large rolling machines which disentangled and cleaned the raw cotton in preparation for spinning.
The carding room was considered actually one of the worst to work in the mill. There's more cotton fibers in the air. It would have been all over the hair, all over the clothes every day. Then you're breathing these fibers in.
What an awful job. And if there was fibers everywhere, they must have gotten sick. They must have got bad chests and coughs and everything from inhaling that all the time.
People also got something we call brown lung, or byssinosis is its technical term, and it's just a cotton disease of just infecting your lungs over and over.
What a terrible place to come to when you've got dreams and you leave one country because it's so terribly hard there, and you think you're going to go to a better place, and you get here and it's just so bad. Did you have many women working in the mills in those days?
Yes. There were a lot of women in America who worked, and in Fall River we see a lot of women and children are working. It's really a family system here.
Wow.
Families made up a big part of the workforce in Fall River. Some of the children working there were as young as 6 years old. This was in contrast to the cotton mills in England, where there were child labour acts restricting working hours and raising the age of employment to 9.
The mill workers, were they given homes or not?
Well, that's an interesting question. If we see here, we have one column that is for rent. The Troy Mill required that its workers live in the housing owned by the Troy Mill, with each apartment being about 18 square meters. So that's smaller than an average hotel room.
Sure. And they had 6 kids at the end of the day, living like that.
So whole families and rows of this. And the first thing that one would have noticed walking into one of these tenements would have been the stench.
Yeah.
They were filthy. They took very little care to build this housing because the city was growing so rapidly. And they didn't take care for the sanitation, so that bred disease.
Yeah.
A lot of people who came from Ireland and from England came here to Fall River thinking that it was the El Dorado,
Yeah.
you know, that the streets would be paved with gold. And they got here and they faced longer hours, they faced harsher working conditions. These machines are running faster than the machines that they had operated before, and yet they're getting paid less money for all of that.
I think I'd have taken the next boat back.
People were asked that in the newspapers, and they said, we can't leave, we have no money.
I know that my great-great-grandmother and father had 6 children. How did they survive all of this? No money, breathing in all this bad air, and all they did was work.
It was a tough life.
Yeah. My great-great-grandparents, Thomas and Catherine O'Donnell, I mean, what a place to end up in. What a place. The brochures said that it was a beautiful place to be, and they come over here, they give up their lives, they give up their families and come to another land for a better life. And they get here, and it's just a hellhole, horrible existence for young people that were enticed and then trapped, basically. They had 6 children, one after the other, and she was working pregnant. It's just unbelievably hard. It's just unthinkable. Complete nightmare.